And our debate is based on free exchange of ideas and free will. I mean, I could put this microphone down and go sit down. Is the firing of my neurons in my head determining my decision? Is it telling me one way or the other? No, I can go either way.
There's a lot of evidence which seems to indicate that whichever way you go would, in fact, be the result of deterministic neurological phenomena. But even if it isn't deterministic, that would simply mean that there's an element of chance in your decisions. Is that what Dinesh means by free will? Does he think free will is just an element of chance in our decision-making?
Think about it. Imagine if all our actions were determined. If that were true, there would be no point in having this debate. There would be no point in us having universities. There would be no point in having morality, because you could never just say to someone, you shouldn't do this, you mustn't do that, this isn't right, because they would answer, what choice do I have in the matter?
Dinesh seems to think that if determinism is true, this somehow means that suggestion plays no causal role in human behavior. This is actually the opposite of what determinists believe. An argument apologists often make for free will is, if there's no free will, there's no point in trying to convince someone to behave a certain way, because they're just predetermined to do whatever they're going to do. But this is like saying if computers have no free will, there's no point in programming them because they're just predetermined to do whatever they're going to do. Programming is part of what determines a computer's behavior, just as suggestion and discussion are part of what determines human behavior, although there are a lot more variables that combine to cause human behavior, making it less predictable. Determinism doesn't make discussion pointless. On the contrary, if determinism is true, anything that has a causal influence on human behavior, including discourse, is very important. It's important because it plays a deterministic causal role.
This is a matter of what Pascal called the wager. And by the wager, what he meant was you can bet on God. And he said, if you're wrong, what's going to happen? Well, you've made a metaphysical mistake. On the other hand, you can bet against God. And if you're wrong, alas, you will be separated from God. Not by his choice, by the way, by yours. You are cutting yourself off from God. And Pascal's point is, why would any rational person choose against God?
Because if he's anything like the Old Testament describes, he's a giant douche.